Manchester United fans love a blockbuster signing. Every summer, there's that one name, the £70 million midfielder, the £80 million midfielder, the player who's supposed to walk into the team and instantly solve everything. And this year, those names are players like Tonali, Tchouaméni, Adam Wharton, maybe even others in that elite bracket. But here's the question: do United actually need a marquee midfielder, or are they better off shopping one tier below? Because the more I think about it, the more I believe the smarter option might be players like Mateus Fernandes, Carlos Baleba, Alex Scott, or Hayden Hackney. Not because they're better players today, but because they might be the better signings. The first argument people make is usually experience. They've proven it. They've done it in the Premier League. They're safer. But here's the thing. That advantage is disappearing. Baleba is Premier League proven. Mateus Fernandes is Premier League proven. Alex Scott has already played against Premier League opposition and is viewed as one of England's best young midfielders. Hackney has nearly 200 senior appearances and has dominated the championship. Meanwhile, Tonali is proven. Wharton is proven. The elite names are proven too. So if both groups are already tested at a high level, that advantage starts to cancel itself out. The conversation becomes less about who is proven and more about whether spending an extra £40 million or £50 million is actually worth it. This is where things get interesting. When you spend £80 million on a midfielder, expectations become ridiculous. Every misplaced pass gets clipped, every bad game becomes a debate, every mistake becomes a social media storm. We've seen it in countless times at United. Big fee, big wages, huge pressure. Suddenly, you're not just signing a footballer, you're signing a headline. But if Mateus Fernandes arrives for £45 million or Alex Scott arrives for £40 million, the pressure is completely different. Fans allow development, mistakes get tolerated, players get time to settle. And that's important because midfield is one of the hardest positions on the pitch, especially at Manchester United. The club does not need another player walking into Old Trafford carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders. Now let's talk finances, because this is where argument becomes really compelling. Let's say United spent £80 million on Tonali. Fantastic player, but that's 80 million gone. Now imagine United spend 45 million on Mateus Fernandes instead. Suddenly you've saved 35 million. That's almost enough to completely change another position. Maybe that helps fund Lewis Hall. Maybe it helps fund a top left winger. Maybe it allows United to sign 2 additional squad players. Maybe it means upgrading left back and midfield instead of just midfield. Football isn't just about having the best 11. It's about having the strongest squad. And United have learned that lesson the hard way over the last decade. One injury and everything falls apart. Depth matters. Options matter. Flexibility matters. Another reason I like the second tier route is age. Mateus Fernandes is 22, Baleba is 22, Alex Scott is 22 and Hackney is 23. These players could realistically become starters for the next 8 to 10 years. They're entering that perfect development phase, good enough to contribute immediately, young enough to improve dramatically, and under Michael Carrick, that's exactly the profile United seem to be targeting. Players who can grow with the project, not players who can arrive as finished products demanding everything revolves around them. This is something fans often ignore. Transfer fees get all the headlines. Wages are what hurt you long term. And a marquee midfielder might demand £250,000 per week, maybe even more. A player like Mateus Fernandes or Alex Scott probably arrives on a fraction of that. Over the 5 years, that's tens of millions saved. And more importantly, it prevents dressing room inflation, because once one player earns massive money, everyone else wants massive money too. United have spent years trying to clean up that problem. There's no reason to recreate it. The other reality is that elite signings are difficult. Their clubs don't want to sell. The players have multiple options. Champions League clubs are involved. Negotiations drag on for months. The fee keeps rising. The wages keep rising. The agent demands more. Meanwhile, players like Fernandes, Baleba, Scott, or Hackney are simply more realistic. They're ambitious, they want the next step, their club knows a sale is possible. The negotiations are cleaner. The risk of wasting an entire summer chasing one player is much lower, and after that last few transfer windows, that matters. Now don't get me wrong, if Tchouaméni suddenly becomes available for a reasonable fee, you listen. If Tonali is genuinely attainable, you explore it. Elite players are elite players, and if the choice is one £80 million midfielder or a £45 million midfielder, a 50 million left back, and another quality addition elsewhere? I think I know which option I take, because United just don't need stars. They need a squad, they need competition, they need depth, and they need players who can grow together for the next decade. Sometimes the smartest signing isn't the biggest name. Sometimes it's the player who gives you the most flexibility, and that might be exactly where United find themselves this summer. So let me know, would you spend big on Tonali or Tchouaméni type signing? Or would you rather United go for Mateus Fernandes, Baleba, Scott, Root, and spread the budget across the squad? Because this summer could define Carrick's project for the years to come.